So just standing on our feet, and if you do have any injuries today or any knee or back problems, just maybe pop your hands up as I'm talking. Just going to get those arms moving. We'll start off with some dynamic stretching. So shoulders up and through. And then backwards, so nice long arms. And when we go backwards, I like to actually really exaggerate the movement. And the reason for this is because we tend to be hunched over all day on our laptops or whilst we're cooking or driving or whatever we might be doing. So it's a nice way to just open up the chest and get those back muscles firing up. And then we'll just come up and shoot our arms up and down, like we're in a marching band. Well, not quite a band because we're playing the saxophone. If we're in a marching band, that's my instrument of choice. And we'll start to go a little bit quicker, just a little bit quicker. And this helps fire up our scapula, the muscles that support our shoulder girdles. So for anyone that has shoulder injuries or has tears, I've got 2 little tears in my shoulders. These are great ones to do when you're trying to get into your exercise regime because it fires up those muscles. And just clap forward and back. So if you can clap, great. If you can't reach, that's fine. I can't get very high. It's not about getting very high. It's just about getting, again, opening up that chest, trying to get rotation, mobility into our joints. I'm going to stand hip width apart as we're doing this. We're going to try and touch our toes or our ankles or our shins opposite, so we come out. Good, it's looking good. So these type of movements are a really good way to just warm up our bodies first thing in the morning, even before you go for a quick walk. It's a cooler morning. It's great to do dynamic stretching. It just gets the blood flow going and a nice quick way to warm up. So we're going to put our fists together now. Okay, I'll do what I call chops. So through the hips, and we're throwing up the hips. Good, nice. And so this is great for just getting that mobility in that hip, as well as flexing, extending our lower backs, which tend to get quite tight when we're sat in chairs all day because our hip flexors get tight, our pelvis rolls forward, and then it puts pressure on our lower backs. All right, I'm just going to do a few star jumps. Okay, now if you can't jump, this is another way to do it. Step out, arms up, step out, arms up. But if you can jump, go for it. So anyone with knee, back problems, any mums in the group that might have had a baby recently, I just recommend stepping out. And when we're doing this, we're trying to focus on our belly muscles, switching on the core. Keep going. Getting the core nice and tight. Here, we'll go for another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great. So you can see you might be a little bit out of breath, which is great. Got the body warmed up. We'll come down onto our knees. Start that clock. I thought today we'd start with trying to get the hip area loosened up a little bit, opening up the hip flexors. Again, I find I get very tight in here, so legs crossed if you can. I'm just going to rock side to side on our sit bones. Good. Nice. Just get some mobility in there. Just going to check those messages. Great, we've got a couple more people jumping on. All right, and from here, sitting comfortably on our sit bones. Now, if you're not even, that's fine. I'm really even because one hip's tighter than the other. What I'm trying to do is lift, taking our hands, creeping them forward, and coming into a nice gentle stretch here. And you might feel, if you've got your left foot forward, you start to feel it in your left hip, in your outer hip. If you've got your right foot forward, you feel the stretch into your right hip. What you want to do here is take some nice deep breaths, and as you're exhaling, you're trying to get a little bit further, maybe reaching those fingertips an extra centimetre forward. And if you can get your elbows on the ground, great. If you can't, that's fine. Whatever your body feels like doing today is fine. And with your next breath, we'll move over to the right side. You feel a deeper stretch into your left side here, if you've got your left foot forward. And holding there. Again, using the exhalation in your breath to get a little bit deeper into the stretch. And then moving back into the center and going to the other side, into your left side. Dropping your head nice and heavy. Closing your eyes. Taking a deep breath here. And then on the exhalation, trying to get a little deeper into that stretch. And back into the center and lifting up. I'm swapping the legs over. So I've got my right foot forward or my right leg forward again, and we'll do that again. Okay, and you feel it in your other hip area. So we're just lifting up nice and tall and then reaching. And you might notice here that one side is tighter than the other. What you're trying to do as you're reaching forward, you're also trying to release and evenly put the weight on your hip or your butt on both sides. And once again, moving over to the right side. Deep breath in, and as you release and exhale, trying to get a little bit deeper, stretching a little bit longer, taking your fingertips a millimetre, half a centimetre, a little bit deeper, further away from you, and back into the centre, and crawling over to the other side. And doing the same. Coming back into the center and gently lifting. We're going to take our left leg out nice and long. Right foot over the left leg, and it probably looks opposite here for you, because we're going to hug. I'm hugging my right knee with my left elbow, lifting up nice and tall. I'm getting a nice deep stretch here in my right butt cheek. Right hand up, turning, popping up behind me, and I'm going to lift up nice and tall on the inhale, and on the exhale, and twist, and look over my back, over my right shoulder. And again, using each inhalation and exhalation to try and get a little bit deeper into the twist. And whilst doing that, also trying to release that right butt cheek towards the ground. Get some nice deep stretch in there. And back into the center. And we'll swap sides. Long leg on the right side, left arm hugging in the right knee. Lift arm up, behind, lift up nice and tall, lots of air into the chest and twist. I'm going to keep my head facing forward or you won't be able to hear me. Taking a couple more deep breaths here. And getting deeper into that twist. Trying to release that left butt cheek towards your mat, towards the floor. And coming out of that nice and gently. Feet nice and long. So we're going to do our hamstrings, back of the legs. Again, these get quite tight on saddle day. So with this one, trying to maybe release your butt cheeks a little bit. Standing up nice, or sitting up nice and tall. We lift hands up. And what I'm trying to do is reach my head over my toes, but wherever they get to. So I don't get very far. My hamstrings are really tight. grab your ankles, grab your shins. The intent here is to try and get imagine head over the toes rather than head right down. So you're lifting out of those sit bones and dropping gently. And if you're not feeling the stretch in the back of your legs here, you're cursed with flexibility. For the rest of us that are blessed with tightness, getting deeper into that stretch by taking another inhalation, and the exhalation maybe points your toes back towards you, and you feel a nice deep stretch through the bottom of your legs, your calf muscles, maybe even into your Achilles. So one more breath here before we come up gently and release that. I'm going to jump into a tabletop. So here we'll be on our hands and knees. Hands directly underneath the knees. We've got a nice flat back, and I'm going to loosen up the hips here. So what we're going to do is we'll come over our hands and roll down and around. Over our hands, roll down into our sit bones and round. You start to feel the mobility and the hips loosening up. And I'm up to my 5th circle here. So on my 5th one, I'm going to stop into the center and go the other way. And really exaggerate this move. Doesn't have to be quick. Exaggerate the move. Really drop into the front of your hips when you come forward into that movement, and open up your hip flexors, which are the muscles that run along your groin. When you get into your 5th circle, take your hands out a little bit further than where they were, maybe another half hand further, and keep doing it. Do another 3 each side. And 3 on the other side. And when you've done that, bring your hands back in and drop into a child's pose. So with your child's pose, you're dropping your butt back onto your knee, onto your heels as far as they'll go. Dropping your head into the center. Taking a couple of deep breaths here. Letting go of any of the thoughts, any of the to-do lists, and just really focusing on putting some great air into your body. And from here, we lift back up into a tabletop. I'm going to turn our toes under. Turn our toes under and reach out, bend our knees into a downward dog. Now, if you need to keep your knees bent, that's fine. You kick our hips back up. You feel a nice deep stretch through the back of your hamstrings. And as you're doing this, just start to drop your right heel to the ground and lift, dropping your left heel to the ground and lift, dropping your right heel to the ground, and move through that motion. You might hear some cracks or clicks through your ankles. I certainly am. It's good. It means I'm getting some mobility in those joints this morning. Now, for those that are first timers at this, at any point in time, if you're starting to fatigue in the upper body or in the lower body, come back into your child's pose and rest there. For everyone else, we're going to a little bit more vigorous for a few moments, just to open up those hips. So we'll come into a downward dog, bring our feet close together, so almost big toes touching. We lift the right foot up, drop the left heel down. And from there, if you like, you can stay here or come back into a downward dog or a child's pose, or bend your knee and open up that right hip without trying to, I suppose, lose the integrity of the hips facing down and forward. And then bring your knee back to the center, into your chest, and pop it on the inside of your right hand. Okay, so if you're in a downward dog, just take the knee forward. And for the beginners here, you can drop that left knee down, trying to maintain that deep stretch in my left hip flexor here. For those a little bit more intermediate in their practice, you can stay up on a long leg there. And from this position, we're just going to walk our right toe and heel out to the outer edge of our mat and pop our right hand on the inside. So you can either be in that position or that position. We're going to open up our left arm, reaching up towards the sky and get a nice gentle twist in there. Okay, so I'm trying to maintain the integrity of that hip facing forward, getting a nice deep stretch in my right hip flexor there as well, my groin, opening up towards the sky, trying to use my belly here to open up rather than my shoulder. And if I can, I'm looking up towards the sky or my ceiling in this case. And then bringing my hand back down, edging my foot back in, lifting back up, taking that right foot back into a plank, drop the knees, coming back into a downward dog. And again, just up onto the tippy toes and dropping the heels to release, up onto the tippy toes and dropping the heels to release. Bringing my feet closer together. Again, if at any point this is too much, come down into a child's pose, lifting that left foot up, nice and long, keeping the hips facing forward, bending the knee, opening up the hip. You might find that one side is tighter than the other. My left side is always tighter. Bringing the knee into chest, dropping it down on the inside of my left foot. Good work, everyone. Looks nice. Okay, edging heel to toe to the outside of my mat. Left hand inside of my left foot. Dropping the knee if I need to. Okay, lifting up and twisting. So lifting up and twisting. Just flip my sides here. There, lifting up and twisting from this middle area rather than the shoulder, keeping that nice deep hip flexion, stretch through that right hip area as well. Now bring the hands back down, left hand outside of the right foot, left foot, edging that foot back in, lifting up the back heel. Bring that leg back. We're in that plank position. If you need to bend back into the downward dog, so pushing those hips back. And from here, we're going to take our left foot towards our left hand and come down into like a semi-pigeon position. What I'm going to do though is line up my heel here, my right heel with my left knee. And this is going to feel very uneven for some of us, most of us, certainly for me. Okay. And what we're doing here is just trying to even out those hips. Alright. Again, leaning forward gently. You'll feel this stretch in your outer right hip area. If you're blessed with flexibility like my mate here, you can go all the way down. If you're cursed with flexibility, if you're blessed like me with tightness, you get about that far down, which is perfectly fine, whatever your body feels like today. Just taking some deep breaths in here. And breathe into that tightness and release that tightness with each exhalation. You're trying to walk over to your right a little bit. Walking your hands over to your right. And again, moving over, walking your hands over to the left. Try not to lose that integrity of the line up of your heel and your knee. And back into the center. And stay in this position. Lift up. This is one I learned the other day, right? It's great, I was watching this video. So as I'm going to lift my left knee up, right knee comes up, and I'm going to drop to the other side. So give that a go. Okay, I'm leaning back about 45 degrees here, and then I'm going to do that again, dropping to my right side, ensuring that my left knee and my right heel still lines up, and dropping over. This is a really nice way I discovered this week to release the hips. Doesn't necessarily look very pleasant, but that's okay. No one's watching us. Unless you've got big, great mirrors in front of you like I do. So a few more each side. And then we're going to come over to that left side, which is the opposite side, and lift up here. And again, trying to lean forward. Again, you might find that this side is looser or tighter than the other. That's fine. Taking a few deep breaths, maintaining the integrity as best as you can of that knee and that heel. And walking over to your left side and dropping there. And whilst you're doing that, trying to push that left hip further towards your left ankle. You get a nice deep stretching there if you try and do that a little bit. It's all about the messages we send to our body as well. And then moving over gently to your right side. It took me years to learn to tell my muscles to do what I wanted them to do. And they still don't. They still chat back to me. But I've gotten better at it over the years because we are in control. Lifting up nice and tall. And again, hands behind us. And just dropping those knees side to side. Coming up. If you want to exaggerate that, and this isn't a pleasant look, but trying to keep those knees as far apart as you can as you come up, getting that nice stretch through there. A few more reps each side. Good work, everyone. If you can't get your knees all the way to the ground, that's perfectly fine. And from this, just walk our feet in a little bit here. Do a forward bend just to release any tension we might have built up in our lower backs there from that movement. So lifting up nice and tall, trying to reach the head over the toes. And walking our hands back up and lifting. So we'll come back onto our tabletop, so our hands and knees. From here, we've got a few minutes left. So we'll go through a vinyasa, a little bit of a yoga flow, just to finish up with our bodies warmed up now that our hips are nice and loose. Hands directly underneath the shoulders, curl the toes under, lift the hips back and push up into that downward dog. Hopefully you're feeling that there's a little bit more movement, or when I say movement, stretch into your hamstrings, back of the legs. So feet together if you like. If not, you just take that right foot forward. More intermediate, lift the leg up, take it forward. Or for the beginners, from that downward dog position, take your right foot forward, follow it by the left foot. Toes are together and aligned. We lift up nice and gently. Take our hands up over our heads. If you can lean back a little bit, we lean back. With the next exhalation, we come down, drop our hands as close to the ground as we can, and then lift up into a nice flat back. So back's parallel to the ground. Hands down to the ground. Take that right foot back, followed by that left foot. Here we want to rotate our elbows in, so we're not loading up the shoulders. If you need to, drop to the knees. From here we lower slowly slowly through those tricep muscles, chest to the ground, lifting our head up and coming back into our downward dog, lifting those toes under, calling those toes under, taking our left foot forward this time, getting that nice big hip flexor stretch, followed by the right foot, again lifting up, hands up above our heads. If we can, we lean back a little bit, get a slight backward bend, lean forward, grabbing our ankles or our calves, coming up into a flat back, lifting those upper back muscles, dropping our hands back down, left foot back, followed by the right foot. If you need to, drop to the knees. For those that don't, slow, controlled, release by your triceps, chest to the ground first, lifting up. So my toes are flat there. I'm looking up, pushing those shoulders back, power through the arms, curling the toes under, lifting up my hips, and coming back into that downward dog. Holding there for a minute. And let's do a round a little bit quicker. So toes together for those that want to go a little bit more advanced, lifting that right foot up, taking knee to chest, bring it forward to our right hand, followed by our left foot, lifting up nice and tall, leaning back. Next exhalation, bringing our hands down to our feet, lifting up into a flat back, and then dropping our hands down, right foot back, followed by the left foot. So we're in a plank, lowering that plank from the knees or from the forearms, chest to the ground first, lifting up the head and turning the toes back under into a downward dog, lifting those hips, taking that left foot back, holding, knee into chest, stepping through left foot through the left hand, followed by the right foot into a nice bend here. We're lifting up nice and tall, slight backward bend, coming back down, hands by the mat, left foot back into a plank position, followed by right foot. Power through those arms, dropping down nice and gently, slowly as you can, lifting the chest up, head up. And from here you can either go into a child's pose or come back into your downward dog, hold, and then drop into a child's pose. Just taking a few deep breaths here. And trying to find a few moments of solitude. Maybe a smile on the face. Reflect on one thing that you'd love to get out of this beautiful new day. Sun is out, we're all together. And perhaps reflect on or share with yourself a moment of gratitude that you have given yourself this 30 minutes for yourself today. And with that, come up, open your eyes. Hopefully you are smiling. Thank you so much for joining me and joining this amazing community. And hopefully your body's feeling a little bit looser and you're ready to tackle the day.
Thank you, Helen. So, thanks, Helen.